they know of at least one club that is changing to in-person meetings as soon as next week. However, they had a district governor's visit planned for next week, and John, at this point in time, thinks it's going to be virtual. So please let us know, either let Melissa know or John know directly that there's been a change, so he's not at the wrong place at the wrong time for the district governor visit, or and certainly let the assistant governor know also. So thank you very much for your cooperation there. I get the impression this is going to be a very fluid situation over the next month or so. So,
hey, Greg.
Yeah.
I understand that begins on September 21st.
Oh, okay. So it's not right away?
Correct. I heard that too, September 21st.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Don. I appreciate that. And that's what I mean by fluidity. Okay. So people are just it's going to take a while to adjust to this, but some people are kind of itching to go. And if you make a change, please let the district know. So we have, we're not running John around the different places where he's not supposed to be. So at this point in time, I'd like to introduce our guest, Ed Hauk. Ed has chaired the District Global Grant Scholarship Committee for a number of years now. And Ed is going to talk to us about that program and where that program is at. And Ed, I'm going to share the document that you asked to be shared on the screen, okay?
Yeah, and I can start to make some comments even without that.
Oh, okay.
So I want to cover just a few basic things as we approach this topic. And I realize we probably have club presidents and people with all kinds of different levels of experience with Rotary. And to say that Rotary and its various programs can be complicated and hard to understand would probably be an understatement. So first of all, let me tell you what global grants scholarships are not. We are not talking about youth exchange here. We are not talking about youth exchange, which is a program of the clubs primarily for high school age students where they go out and spend a year abroad. That's not what this program is about. This is a program that is funded by the Rotary Foundation. So it is funded by all of you who make contributions to the Rotary Foundation have a stake in all kinds of different programs that the foundation does. And I'm confident you've probably heard about some of them. You're probably going to hear about more of them as the year goes along on these calls. But as to the program I'm presenting, this program has the attractive component for all of you club presidents in that this does not specifically require your club to pony up any money to participate in this program. There is one scholarship per year that is funded and will be awarded. And the funding for that has been taken care of in a way that we don't have to get into tonight. But the important thing is, if you are the smallest club in the district, the dogs are barking. If you're the smallest club in the district, you can participate in this program because this doesn't require you to raise your dues, raise any money, or do anything. We're looking for certain students for this foundation scholarship. So it's going to be open to everybody. Any club in the district can sponsor a student for these scholarships. We only have one to award. Applications are due in January, and we will make our selection in February, which you might say, well, that's pretty early in the Rotary year, but it is. And there's a reason for that, because there are then a number of steps that have to take place after that. And oftentimes we're still working on implementing and getting this thing going in May and June. And just one other comment I would make before I get into the presentation that's on the screen is a lot of students that express interest in this scholarship will find information on the Rotary Foundation website. And there are a lot of permutations of how districts choose to do this program. And a lot of it is based on how much money they have to devote to the program, and can they fund multiple scholarships? Can they fund multiple years? So you could have a student come forward and say, well, I saw on the Rotary Foundation website that you all do these scholarships and you can fund several years of education. Well, that's not necessarily true. The limiting factor is how much money you have. And so the program in front of you is what the district leadership has decided to make available based on funds and our objectives. So just getting to the screen, this is a scholarship to fund the first year of graduate study abroad for someone who's finished college, probably in the recent past or in the past couple of years. We basically get people, we might interview people in February who are in their senior year of college. We might get people who are out a year or two, but not much beyond that. Students who want to spend, who do graduate study, and if we can scroll down just a bit to the Rotary areas of focus. Okay, good, great, stop. One of the limiting factors about this particular scholarship is this isn't just for anybody. The foundation is funding a scholarship for people who want to study and who want to subsequently have a career in one of the Rotary's areas of focus. So you can see we're not sending students to Cambridge to study English literature, or we're not sending people abroad for language study. We're sending people abroad to work in one of these specific areas. Right now, for example, we have a young woman out in the Netherlands who is studying in the clean water, sanitation, and hygiene area. And she is hoping to go back to her native Ivory Coast and in Africa and help in her country do these sorts of things to provide clean water that is lacking. Another student we have abroad right now who's in Brighton, England, who will start her studies very shortly in a week or two, is interested in nutritional issues and specifically working with organizations that will study nutrition and through nutrition help save mothers in emerging world countries and their children. So those are just a couple of quick examples. If we could scroll back up for just a bit again. Good, there we go. There are the highlights. Student wants to pursue a career in an area of focus. It's for the first year only of graduate studies abroad. In other words, we're not entertaining applications for somebody who's currently abroad in a 3 or 4 year or 2 or 3 year program, and all of a sudden they decide they want to look for some funding to fund their second year. That's not what we're in business to do. We're in business to kick off somebody's studies in the first year. There's a minimum budget of $30,000 a year, maximum budget of $30,000, and it's based on academic merit. The student has to either reside, have a permanent residence in the 7-county district area, or attend a college located in the 7-county district area. Scrolling down a little bit, there are the deadlines. One of the reasons I asked District Governor John to get on the program early is that if your clubs are going to start thinking about people that qualify for this scholarship, you can't just start at Thanksgiving and you can't start at the Christmas holidays. You should get an early start on this because, you know, you need to find somebody who's maybe interested in one of these career areas, and that's not going to be for everybody. And there's my contact information, and all this information is on the district's website, and it is available there. And that's all I have, Greg.
Okay. Thank you, Ed. Ed, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
The information about the scholarships, is that distributed to colleges in the district as a matter of course, or would it be up to the clubs to get that to the colleges that are in their service area?
A little bit of both. We could always use help in contacting local colleges. I would say the best relationships we have are with Gettysburg College, Dickinson, and Franklin and Marshall. They've been the most responsive as far as, and the reason for that is we've been able to reach the right administrative people who work at the college, who advise students on graduate fellowships, and they're right in the middle of helping students apply for all kinds of things, and they're a good source. But certainly we could use all the help we could get, getting a little more attention from some of the other colleges that I haven't mentioned.
Okay, all right. So there's a chore for our presidents and you say Gettysburg, F&M, and Dickinson.
And Dickinson have been the best for us.
Okay, so if there is a college in your service area that's not one of those three, then you might want to send them some of these flyers. I remember when I was in college and graduate school, particularly in the graduate students lounge was a bulletin board full of these things, right?
Right.
And you kind of waded through the empty Coke bottles on any given day and made your way to the bulletin board and searched through it. So, but okay, thank you very much, Ed. Very much appreciate your efforts, and thank you for all you do for this program and for Rotary. And Ed's contact information is on there and on the district website, so don't hesitate to reach out to him for any information about this. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your attention.
You're welcome. Okay, so is John May on the call yet? No. Okay, so we'll wait. So at this point, this is an important announcement. The district conference, the district foundation dinner, pre-pets for next year, and pets will now all be virtual events. Those decisions had been made. So we will, I know at least for the district foundation dinner and for pets, we will keep the same dates that were originally announced. Okay, so we will be getting more information out. We will be getting information out to you as we get it, as to how we're going to conduct those events. The district foundation dinner is my responsibility, and so I would appreciate if anybody has any suggestions about how we could have that event virtually. I would be happy to include them in our thinking. At this point in time, we would like to have a virtual event where we have a keynote speaker. We have a couple of people we would like to honor also for their contributions to the foundation, not only in some of them for funds, but some of them for effort also. And then also thinking of having an online silent auction, which will run for a couple of weeks prior to that. We will get the word, if we decide to do that, get the word out to everyone in the district and call for contributions to that of things that we can auction off. But I think it could be a nice event. Pets, which has traditionally been held in Valley Forge, is now this year going to be virtual. Juliet attended that meeting tonight, and the hotel has sort of graciously let us off the hook, and is not charging us anything for canceling. And we've been a pretty good customer down through the years. I think they're anxious to try and keep us in the fold. And the Pets Committee, which Juliet and I are both on, is in the process of revamping the planning for that to go all virtual. So it won't be as much fun, but it'll still be a great event. So, and I haven't heard anything from John at this point in time. Is there any feedback from any presidents or anyone else on the call about things that are going on in your club, or things you've been wondering about, or things you need from the district, or anything like that?
Greg, I was wondering, is there a timeline of, I guess, expectations might be the word, of current presidents? For example, I just got an email from our club secretary that I need to submit 4 past president names for our nominating committee for the upcoming year. It's like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Is there a resource that shows us, okay, next you should be doing this, next you should be doing, that kind of thing?
Okay, I believe there is, Don, okay, but I can't quite put my mind on it right now. Okay, I will reach out to Melissa, okay, and also to District Governor John, and see where the best place for that. I don't think there's anything specific on I'm thinking the RI website, but really these things are different in every district, so I don't really think there would be anything on there. Okay. But I will look and see what I can find for you.
I think Elizabeth has a comment there.
Okay.
Yeah, a really good resource is right on our district website. If you go to the district website, there's a thing that says President's page, and there's a whole ton of information there on that President's page on the district website.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. I knew one of the AGs would step right up there and just thank you, Elizabeth. We appreciate it. Okay. Anything else?
Greg, something that John Anthony mentioned to me when I chatted with him today was how clubs should start thinking about candidates for district governor. So if there are any shining stars, as Greg and I can attest to, being part of the district leadership is quite a privilege, and it's a way to grow in your knowledge of Rotary, and you meet fantastic people, and it exposes you to a whole range of things behind the scenes, and it's just a fantastic opportunity. So there will be information coming out from Melissa and John Anthony related to some timelines for that. But now's the time to start thinking about some shining stars in your clubs who might want to interview to be district governor.
Thank
and
you.
That would be for 2023, 2024.
Actually think out. One more thing that I just thought of, that since John May is not on the call, John was going to join us tonight originally to talk about the Polio Plus Society, which is now up and running, and Polio Month, which is October. I think World Polio Day is, somebody told me earlier, Ray, did you?
October 24th.
The 24th, okay. And it's going to be a kind of a rough year, because some of the things we were doing in the past, like Pints for Polio, might not work as well this year, simply because a lot of the breweries are sort of struggling to be open. And if they are open, they're struggling to be able to serve enough to actually turn a profit. But if everybody could just look to their club and say, can we run some sort of little fundraiser to do something for Polio Plus this year? Okay, we need to make the effort. It's the most important thing that that Rotary does collectively, and we sort of like to step up and be able to make a pretty nice contribution to Polio Plus this year. So, Michael, you have something?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'll yield it to Elaine because she's been very kind with holding up her hand several times, and then
Oh,
I'll
okay.
follow
All
her.
right. I can't see everybody at once here, so.
Can I talk?
Yes.
Well, our club has only been meeting every other week because of we're Zooming most of the time. Now we are trying to fit in an outdoor event every now and then, but I was just wondering what the other clubs are doing. Are they as regular? Are they as like a weekly meeting, or can that vary, or should I look to getting back into the weekly groove?
Okay. I'll start, Elaine. Right now, it's kind of all over the spectrum. And I just had reports from Ray and Fred tonight about what the clubs in their group were doing. And I know just Fred, like all 6 of his clubs are meeting, okay? One is face-to-face, the other 5 are virtual. And it's sort of depending on the club. And I know with Ray's group, some are weekly, one is monthly via Zoom. I think everybody's doing what they can and what they're capable of supporting from a technology standpoint. The most important thing is that you and your club members feel safe doing what you're doing, okay? And, the safety committee put out a great document that will help you along with that. But, my personal hope is that we can get all the clubs back to a weekly meeting as soon as it's safe for them to do so. Okay. The membership has been holding up fairly well, even though a lot of us haven't been able to get together on a regular basis and talk. So we're pretty happy about that. The spirit of Rotary goes on, no matter how difficult the situation has become.
It's just a little more difficult to recruit as doing it this way.
It is.
Bring in new members and.
Yes, it is, and it's. I'm looking at our business, and with marketing, it's the same way. I mean, it's kind of difficult when you can't be out there in the community, shaking hands and meeting new people and things like that. So, so if you please feel free to reach out personally to myself or to Juliet. Okay, if you say, hey, we're thinking about doing this, what do you think? Okay, or things like that, and you're in Ray's Group C, and it's also reach out to Ray. Our AGs have a really good handle on what the other clubs in your group are doing. Okay. And then, Julia and I have a pretty good idea what the clubs in the district are doing. So we'd be happy to help out, what's going on. So, okay. Did that help?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
All right. Sure.
Hey, Greg, my question was, you're showing on the calendar RLI is still on the docket for 10 October. Is that going virtual too, or can you give us some information on that?
I have not heard anything about that. Juliet, have you?
I did hear it's going virtual as well, but more details will be coming out about that. I'm not sure it's still being scheduled for the same dates. I'll email Hector Ortiz about that. He had mentioned that at one of our recent meetings.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Back to Elaine's question regarding meeting Zoom. And we at the E-Town Club, we're meeting every Friday noon Zoom, and then we also have the Monday happy hour club that meets also every week. But we keep getting out of 130 members, we keep getting pretty much the same 40 people. So we're at about 30% regularly, and there are so many that aren't even engaged or involved. My question for everybody, does anybody have a meeting requirement yet? Because at this point, we've made all of our meetings like optional because, you know, with all the struggles and everything from businesses to family situations and schooling, you know, we haven't done anything required. And I proposed at last week's board meeting, let's start discussing, you know, how this might look to make one Zoom meeting required a month. If this is going to be going on for another year, who knows? So any input from the member or from the presidents here, please?
Don, this is Ben Bamford. We had thought that what we might do is start taking attendance this month. And I got a tremendous amount of pushback for all kinds of reasons, be it technology, will you name it, I got it. And we rethought what we were doing, and we're going to start with attendance, or at least the thought of attendance, in January. We also have a Rotary Rendezvous, which is every other week, every other Wednesday evening. And that's something that can be used as a makeup, and that's an in-person meeting. But what I'm trying to do is encourage our committees to start to meet, and they're really not. We normally get, as you said, we normally get maybe the same 50 people at each meeting. Our highest number last week was 90, and it kind of wanes and waxes from there. A normal in-person meeting for us is about 110 to 120 people. And so I'm really trying to figure out a way to get everybody engaged, but it's just not clicking at the moment. We have to figure out another way.
I'm just thinking back then and Don to something we were doing at Hanover before COVID, in that when the attendance would wane from time to time, and we would just you know, we kept attendance then, and we would just have.
We could bring this out there, or
we would reach out, have other club members reach out to people who weren't showing up and say, hey, you know, what's up? Are you? We hope everything's okay with you, and you know, we'd like to see you at the meeting and stuff like that. No pressure, because we don't have a meeting attendance requirement at Hanover, and actually RI, I think, is trying to discourage that these days.
Yeah.
So it might be the same. I mean, it's on Zoom, it's really easy to take attendance. All you got to do is pull the participants list up,
right,
and off, right?
We have a good number of people in the club that when we talk about the ABCs of Rotary, A for attendance is number one. Mm-hmm. We had a memorial resolution last week for an individual that had 67 years of perfect attendance. And we have many members who are in the 40 years, 30 years, you know, that kind of thing. And so we're trying to balance this in a way that meets everybody's needs, knowing that this is kind of extraordinary at the moment. But there will come a time when I think at least our club will have to look back at attendance and say, this is what our members are, you know, it's become something that they're really focused on. So attendance is important to them.
Yeah.
Something we just started, well, the resolution at our board meeting is, let's split up the list of those since March who have only attended 0 to 2, and let's call. And how you doing? How can we help? I mean, that's part of what we do as Rotarians, is helping each other too. So
we did the same thing back in July, I guess. My first meeting, we divided up the membership among the board members just to say, just check in every once in a while, see how everybody's doing. You know, I know not everybody's going to want to jump in and a Zoom meeting, and there are technology issues. There's all kinds of other issues. I've also heard, and you may have also, that Zoom has some odd political things going on, and their relationship with China. I have at least 2 members who absolutely completely refuse to do a Zoom meeting because of something that happened in China. So we and I'm dealing with I'm dealing with 199.
You know, real quick here to close up, one person from each breakout session. I'll be the one for Group D and lead off. We talked a lot about fundraising because fundraising is kind of really a critical problem right now, probably more important than meeting because a lot of us have a lot of causes that we support from our Rotary clubs, and we're kind of compromised in our ability to do that because of our inability, particularly if our fundraisers involve getting a whole lot of people in a small space at one time. And that's probably not going to happen for a while, even yet longer than we've been at it. So I know Tom from Littlestown talked about their chicken barbecue, which is coming up, I believe, on the 18th, right, Tom?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So if you want some good chicken barbecue, get yourself down to Littlestown on the 18th. Those things work well because they're outside and they don't require people to get close together. And also, I'm compiling information on the online silent auction apps to see what the deal is there. I'm doing that for the foundation dinner, but as I get that, I will pass it around to everybody. If you want to conduct something like that, it seems to me that's something that would work in these times. So, who was?
I'll go next.
Okay,
Greg.
sure.
So we also talked about fundraising, and in October, the training for October is going to be focused on fundraising. So that might be a good thing for everybody to sit in on. And we also talked about several of our clubs who really embraced wanting to increase their diversity and are taking some intentional steps towards that. So as they seek out new members, and the one club is doing that through the York County Economic Alliance, which I thought was a great idea. So that's where we were.
Also on the diversity topic, the first district training session was on diversity and inclusion, and that was recorded and is on the district website. So if anybody needs to go back and see that again or watch it for the first time. Actually, just a question popped up from Ann Newberger about, does anyone know about Rotary's partnership with Toastmasters? And we did, I got some communication from RI not too long ago that I believe after sometime beginning in November, there's going to be training sessions from Toastmasters available in the training modules on the RI website. So that is coming along. So you might want to check in. I'd urge you to check into the training section of the RI website every once in a while just to see what's been added. There's some really good stuff on there. And my understanding was that by November, the Toastmasters contribution to that effort is going to be up there. So, so that was Elizabeth. Who's next? Anybody?
Ann, would you present for our group?
Talked about the billboards.
Mm.
We didn't have enough time to talk about anything else, and whether it behooves us to go together or not, and is it digital or not. The answers that we got from Lamar are vague, and so further investigation needs to happen, but I think the majority feel it's got a lot of potential. And we as in Lancaster, of course, we really want it for our fundraiser because it's cold outside and we won't be near that many people except for putting it together. So I think we'll have a very successful fundraiser this year.
Yeah. Mike, you had a point or a question?
Yeah, I was just going to answer you. We did billboard one already. They are electric or electronic. They will give you, when you tell them what area you want to encompass, they'll give you like whatever's available, and they want you to rank order in, hey, this is my primary, here's my secondary, here's my tertiary, and order which one is you want first, and then they'll tell you which ones are available, and then what dates that you want them on.
Who'd you talk to?
I'll get that information from our point of contact that did it, one of my committee members, but it was from Lamar. They actually pushed out all that information to us.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I have Lamar too, but it's very inconsistent. So if you could give that to Charity, that would be fabulous.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. Who wants to go next?
Ray, I could do Group C. We spent most of our time talking about sharing how each other is moving forward in a little bit more detail with the meetings, just how things are working. The other thing that we talked about was really, I thought it was a good idea that we'd share weekly and monthly newsletters or bulletins with the other presidents of the 6 presidents, so they could see how each president was engaging their membership and also the different events that were being scheduled.
Yeah.
Talking a lot about that, sharing information between presidents.
Okay, great. Who did not go yet?
I guess Group E, we just talked about COVID fatigue. Dave Fuchs brought that up. Just to be aware of that, you know, when we're trying to inspire our membership. And then, and even just something simple was brought up by Linda Spots, having a can at the cash register, End Polio Now, just, you know, continuing to put the Rotary brand and awareness of, you know, just like the huge thing that's happening right now with ending polio, just little things like that to get members to put it in their office or somewhere visible, you know, just to keep the visibility and what Rotary stands for.
Any other groups that need to go yet?
Yeah, I'll go for Group A. I mean, we just talked about what we were proud of too on a positive note, and that, you know, each of our clubs has fantastic members that support one another, and through this incredibly challenging time, people are still rallying together and they're doing service. And maybe the online Zoom meeting attendance isn't fantastic, but in the end, everyone's supporting one another. Engagement is an issue for everyone with people's level of feeling safe in doing in-person activities. And one club actually got a member through the pandemic, so that's a great thing.
Yoo-hoo.
Great thing. And did I miss anybody? Any groups? I lost track of where we were at, so. Okay, I would like to thank everybody for their time this evening. It was a fantastic meeting, and I think a lot of good information got shared, and I certainly learned a lot. I think I speak for Juliet too, from the interaction. One of the things that just continues to impress me is how the spirit of Rotary goes on, no matter what the problems our nation is facing or the world is facing. And you know, I heard my friend Jeffrey Caderet, who was his own, or was actually one of the board of directors of RI for a time, say several times that the world needs us more now than ever. And I think that's true. So thank you very much for all that you do for Rotary and for your clubs. And if there's any way that District Governor John or myself or District Governor nominee Juliet can help, please let us know. Reach out to your assistant governors. They are doing a great job with keeping us in touch with what's going on in the clubs and those groups. And we appreciate their efforts. And so that's all. I wish you all a good night and keep the faith. Thank you very much.
Good night, all.
Bye.
See ya.
Night.
Hey, John.
From Ravi, the Rotary Foundation Chair of the Trustees for 2020-2021. Peter, let's enjoy Ravi. Thank you.